Okay, I'm here to show you today how to put together your listing presentation materials. I'm not going to get into why you need these materials or how to present them or those type of things. Please go to the class and or read the book in that chapter. This is the second chapter talking about the listing presentation. But I just want to show you today where to get these items and then how to update them with your information. So this is the PowerPoint presentation. It is done in PowerPoint. That doesn't mean you have to have PowerPoint in order to use it or even to update it. There are usually most of the other tools that you get or applications that you have on your computer that are similar to a PowerPoint slide deck usually gives you the option of also doing some basic updates and things like that, and that's really all you need to do here. So as you can see, all the slides are over here, and when you want to present, you just hit the present option. So down here at the bottom there's this button that you can do the slideshow. Once you do that, of course, it takes the other slides away, and then you see it in full screen, and then you can click through it. Okay, so that's basically what a PowerPoint presentation does. Now, if you do have PowerPoint or you decide to purchase a version of PowerPoint, which is a Microsoft application, which by the way you can get for Mac or for your PC, you're going to have some more options. So it's up to you if you want to do that, but it should work with any software, any presentation software that you have. So the only thing you need to do to this slide deck, to this PowerPoint slide, is to put your picture over here to the right, and then of course put your first and last name there, your phone number, brokerage. You can put your broker logo there. I wouldn't make it too busy, but we're just trying to not only make it compliant, but of course have your face there so they can see it. And then the reason this sign in front of the yard is blank is so that you can take whatever sign that you have, that your broker has probably worked with you on to make sure that it's compliant with their logo and all that kind of stuff, and what you get printed goes here. So hopefully you've got what your sign looks like. If you don't, all you really need to do is ask your broker or your marketing person at your brokerage to give you a version of that sign that they send to print that you just want electronically so you can put it on this marketing material. Okay, simple as that. Where do you get this? If you go to intercaplending.com/captivate, you will get, here I'll go back so you can see what that page looks like. You're going to get this page right here, and then you get all these links here, and hopefully you become a little bit familiar with these options. You've got your training schedule if you want to make it to a class, help videos where this video is found as well, so you probably know where that is if you found this video. Captivate on Facebook, where we have some recorded classes up there as well. And then there's this Captivate store. I won't go through all the buttons, but you can kind of read those and see what they're for. But the Captivate store is where you want to go, so you click on that. And then the options that are, some of them do cost money. They're just the cost of what it actually costs to provide these to you. It's not a money maker on the Captivate side. We just wanted to make sure that the things that we recommend are easy for you to find, and we've found vendors or even purchased them in bulk so that you can get them at that discount price. So on this page you'll see the listing presentation, and notice because it's electronic, it's not being printed or anything for you, it does not cost anything. So you just click on that, and then you'll add it to cart. It's kind of like a shopping cart, but again, it doesn't cost anything. So here's the slide deck where it even shows you here, add your sign image here, and then you'll add your picture to the right of that. Now this will also allow you to download the PDF files for your printouts. I'll show you those in just a second, but it's best to get those out of Total Expert. So let's go through the slide deck first, and then I'll show you where it is in Total Expert. So when you download the PowerPoint slide deck, it'll look like this. You may get, and I wish I wouldn't have clicked away or said OK over here, or enable content is what it says, so that you could see that. But typically when you download this to your computer, it initially will be locked just because it doesn't, it might be locked. So you'll see an option to enable the content. Now, if you're pulling this from a link, like let's say you got the link to download it and you didn't actually download it to your computer, you might not be able to enable it. So make sure you download it to your computer first, and then if it's in a zip file, which it may be, open it up, know where it's at, I mean, you know how to manage your files hopefully on your computer, but put it in a directory that has all your listing presentation or information, or your listing, you know, the homes that you list, and put it in there so you know where it's at, and then enable the content. And that's going to create a local copy. If you continue to have problems with it for whatever reason, you can do a file and a save as, and then save it locally, like what, you know, here. And basically what that's going to do is take it from wherever it's at, if it's locked for whatever reason, and then put it in the directory that you want, and then it's going to save it as a copy of that. You even have the option to export and other things, but for the most part you should just be able to hit save as, so that you don't have to worry about not being able to update that information. Okay, so next is to put your image in there. So let me pull up my picture. So somewhere on your computer, hopefully you have your headshot, and since you likely use your headshot for a lot of different things, make sure you know where it's at. And the easiest thing to do is just drag and drop it onto your slide if you want to do it that way. You know, it's a lot easier than hitting file and trying to find it, but you can do that as well. So, oops, here's my picture, and obviously it's much too big, so I just drag it by the corner and make it the size that I want. And I would just fit it into this, you know, the space. No matter how tall it is, it doesn't matter. So I've given you quite a bit of space, no matter, you know, even if you've got a portrait view and it's kind of long, like mine's more of a square size, but if yours is longer, that's fine. And if you want to crop it, when, at least if you're in PowerPoint, you can click on your image and then you can see that crop option right here, and then you can basically, you know, pull it in a little bit or whatever you might want to do. I think it's just fine the way it's at, so I'll leave it there. And then if I want to, I can pull this up a little bit higher, and then I would just type in my name, my phone number, you know, on that, all that information that you put right here. And you put your broker name here. That should be fine, especially since you're gonna have your broker logo most likely inside of this sign right here. You know, if you want to put your broker logo down here or something like that, you've got lots of room to do whatever you want. I wouldn't overdo it. You don't have to put, you know, a whole bunch of other information here. It can be distracting, but honestly, that's really up to you to use that space any way that you want to. I'm not going to bring in an image here. You know, I want everyone to feel comfortable with, you know, whatever broker they work with, because, you know, the broker that you work with is the best brokerage out there, right? So, you know, we won't kind of show any favoritism here, but you know, all you're going to do is the same way that I brought in my picture, you're going to bring in your sign image. And if it doesn't fit exactly here, it doesn't matter. You can just lay it over. Like if I were to take this image and like, oh, I'm going to make this bigger, and then it hangs lower like this, right? That's totally fine. It still looks like it's there, and you can see the hooks there. So basically you're just covering this as a blank area. If you got just a logo you want to put in and you want to put it in that area, basically you have the versatility to do what you want. Don't worry about, you know, the whole signs or anything like that and making it look just perfect. Just, this is going to be just fine if your, you know, if your sign image looks like this. Obviously you probably wouldn't put your face there, but I guess you could if you wanted to. But that's as easy as it is to do that. Now, a couple other things about your slide deck is that when you get down to the slides that go over your single property website, this is actually hyperlinked. If I click on this image, and then again, I'm showing this to you in PowerPoint, so it might be a little bit different. But if I hit insert, there it is right there, I'm going to have an option for a link. Now again, your options may look different depending on the you know, version of PowerPoint you have, especially if you have a different, you know, presentation software. But you should have the ability to assign a link to this. If you don't, it's really not a big deal. I'll show you how to get around it as I kind of walk you through this, you know, this presentation. But if I click on this, you can see that this is pointing to my example single property website, because you want to show them an example. This is really important because when I do my presentation, at least, this single property website is basically from that point forward, I'm showing them all the, you know, rich multimedia and everything of that of a property. Now, I have mentioned this in my class. You can create multiple copies of this presentation. Even if you leave the same picture, it doesn't matter too much, but you could switch out the picture if you want. But the idea here is that if you're going to help someone sell a condo versus a townhome versus a multi-million-dollar property, or maybe a average size home like this one, you may want to have different examples so that when they see it, they're not, oh yeah, that's great for a multi-million-dollar house, but I have this little tiny condo or something like that. Every 3D tour and the staging of those properties and everything are still valuable, and they need to see it. That's the one thing about your presentation, is people can't just hear from you how great of a job that you do. They need to see it. It's tangible to them. And again, attend the class, read the book, understand the value of demonstrating something that they can see and understand, kind of put their hands on, so to speak. When they see their house staged, it's so much better. So that's how you update that. Now, if you're going to use the entire presentation, this is where you would have your video. So I'll even play you, well, actually, until I go into presentation mode. Oh yeah, well, it'll play here. But it can automatically play from your slide deck. I don't even use this slide to do that, because once I take them to the single property website, I kind of finish out my presentation with all this other information about video marketing and about the 3D tour from the single property website. So that's a way to get around if you're having issues. But if your video is just showing a big black image and it's not there, then what you need to do is download one of your drone footage videos. It should be your own. If you have done properties and you can show your own properties here, then you can enter it or add it here. So you can put insert, which I'm already at here, and then you can use, I'm trying to wonder, yeah, it's right here, video, and it'll even give you an option to do it from a file. You want to do it from a file. I wouldn't do it from an online movie. The reason for that is that if you're going to have it local, might as well have it local so that it doesn't skip, or not skip, but just not play, it kind of spins sometimes when the internet connection isn't great. So this is a way for you to be able to, have it local. Now, the website you can't have local, obviously, in the 3D tour you can't, so you're still going to need internet access. But if you're going to have it local, might as well have it local. But again, if it's not working and you can't figure out how to download a video and put it into your slide deck, which, if you need help, ask someone, look it up online. You can figure out how to do that. But I'll show you how to go through this presentation and just take it from the single property website. Same thing with your 3D tour. Here's a image of the home, and you can see the circles there. So I actually took this from the 3D tour, one of the screens. If I click on this, and again, I go to the link here, you can see that there's this Matterport link which goes to this property. And again, if you're going to do multiple presentations with different kind of properties, different price points, this is where you would update that information so it would go to a condo or a townhome or a multi-million-dollar property, or whatever you want to do that. Okay, makes sense? So really, that's all you need to do, and then make sure you save it in a place where you can bring it up when you get to that seller's house and you're going to do your presentation. Make sure you check it in the car before you get out. Make sure that your hotspot with your phone is working if you're going to do that. You can use the internet of your seller, but it's best if you don't have to, if you can use your own hotspot. But again, it depends on the internet connection you have on your phone. So let me show you now as I present this, or as you get ready to present it. When you hit the present button, again, it goes back to that full screen mode. They're not seeing the other slides and the other options across the top there. And then you go through and you explain, what each one of these, points mean. You've got your verified buyers, your stage and flip, and then giving them some examples of what it's like to having a well-staged home, and maybe a few little updates if necessary. Then you talk about your grand open house. Then you get to the point where you talk about your advertising. And again, follow the book. I'm going through this quick. It gives you some ideas of what you can say and what exactly you're offering. So if you need help with that, that's something you should do. Get ready for way before you go to your actual presentation. You can talk about, that you're going to do these 5 or 6 ads and how much engagement you get because it's targeted marketing. And then you're going to say one of the landing pages is going to be a single property website. I'm going to do a site just for your home, a web page that people are going to see when they click on these advertisement links. And this way they can get more pictures and more information. And this is what it looks like. When you click on it, it should bring up your browser, and then there's the actual live site. Then you can click through the pictures. And again, as you click through the pictures, really emphasize how important a well-staged home is in terms of helping people imagine what it's like to live in that home. Because, like for example, this space right here looks horrible without any furniture. Honestly, you look at this space without any furniture, especially without the dining room table there and without the seating here, and people are going to think, wow, I can't believe this 3,800 square foot house is so small. The kitchen is just teeny tiny, and where the heck were we going to eat? And there's no, space for living and all that, which obviously when it's all there, it looks just fine, right? There's the dining setup, there's the living room. Oh yeah, plenty of space. Put a nice big TV there. That's what you're going to emphasize to them about why their home needs to be staged, and here's how it's going to look when people look through your property. And then of course you're showing them how big the picture is. Then when you get to the video and the virtual tour, the 3D tour, instead of going back to the slide deck, trying to kind of clumsily go back and open that back up, like I'd have to come back here and then, okay, now let's go to the next one, and I'm going to tell you about my video marketing, which you can still do. I used to actually do it that way, but I found that it was just easier for me to just use from the point that I clicked on the single property website to use the links here. So then I would go to the virtual tour and the 3D tour here and explain, with every property that I do, I want to make sure that people not only see the house, but they also see everything around it. This particular house is right next to a golf course. Your home is da-da-da. I would kind of talk about maybe their views, kind of try to tie it in as much as you can so they don't think, well, my house isn't by a golf course, so why should I do this? Like, well, you got beautiful mountain views or lake views, or the community is so nice, stuff like that. And then you show them that video, okay? And then when you're done showing them that video, I'll hit the back screen, I'll say, and then let's go through the virtual tour. And again, read the book to get through the the scripting or the things that you want to share, but you're going to walk them through the property through the video tour. But again, instead of going back to the slide deck, you can do it right here. Okay, so again, don't want to spend any more time on that because you can come to the class and read the book and get all the needed information about that. I just wanted to make sure you knew where to get your presentation file and how to update it. If you have any other questions, you can email us at captivate@intercaplending.com, and we'll be happy to kind of help you, or more importantly, your loan officer that invited you, your Intercap loan officer that invited you to the program can help you as well. They're trained on how to do these things. Now, the other part of your leave behind for your open house is, let me come back here, is your printout sheets, and then also, if you're going to do it, your tote bag. We call it the home shopping bag. Here it says open house tote, but don't worry, it's basically these are all the same. And the price range here is showing quite a bit because most people will order them in quantities. If you order 25, they end up being pretty inexpensive, like $4 or $5 each, somewhere around there. So the more you order, the more it's going to be, or the less it's going to be per unit. But the most important thing is it's totally branded for you. So this way you can send in your logo, it's full color, and that's what we call the home shopping bag. And then if you're going to do your folder, which I highly recommend that you have a branded folder. Again, it won't say Intercap, it'll be your branded folder. I think there's another, I guess not, there used to be one where it showed a folder here that didn't show Intercap on it, but you can order these folders here, and that's where you're going to put in your listing sheets. Now your listing sheets look like this. Let me bring it up here. There we go. So the first sheet, and of course it'll be oriented maybe the other way, or portrait, but we're showing it to you in landscape. The only thing you're going to want to update is, of course, the image that's on the sign. It's not going to show your picture here because you're going to have your business card inside of your folder and all that. So I'll show you in a second how you can update this information really easily without having to do it in a PDF file. The only way you're going to be able to update this in a PDF file is if you have a PDF writer software. It's kind of like if you have a PDF reader, that's free, but the writer software, to be able to update things, you would have to have the software license to do that. So you can see here I can do a lot more, like edit the PDF, and I can add images and stuff here. If you have that ability, great, you can do it that way. But notice too that these pages have a little bit more information, so they're not like the slide deck. We don't want this to be like the slide deck because the slide deck has hardly any other information. We want the seller, after we leave or after you leave, to be able to remember what you meant by verified buyers, for example, with a little bit more content. So each one of these has a full 8.5 by 11 page, which just gives them a little bit more information than what was just on the slide deck. Not a ton, because again, most people will remember what you had to offer based on this infographic, and then the basic information about those things. Okay, so how do you get this in a format so that it's easy to update? Best place is in Total Expert. So let me bring up Total Expert, and although I'm not going to go through this in this video, hopefully you're able to get a copy of this. This is a marketing system with some CMS or contact management system capabilities. If you already have a database, contact database, whether you call it CRM or CMS, whatever you want to call it, you don't need to use it for that. You should be able to do the things that we'll teach you in the Captivate program with adding contacts, adding groups, putting notes and reminders. That's the main things that you need to do, which any database will do. But one reason that you may want to get a free copy from Total Expert is that you get the ability to do a whole bunch of co-branding. There's you can see over 300 different flyers that you can get co-branded that have to do with all sorts of great co-branded information, but not just about the lending, but also about buying and selling property. Like here you can see this one's about that free fi. If you've heard about that, they can refinance without the lender fees because interest rates are high now. Buy a home with little or no money down. It's raining money. I don't know what that one's about, but anyway, there's lots and lots of different flyers. Buy now is zero down that you can get. Now what I want you to do when you get in there, before you go and look at all those cool flyers and maybe pick some up, is you'll type in Captivate in the search, and then you're going to see the flyers that you should really be putting inside of your folder. That's going to help people to see your services, as well as how do I apply for a loan, how do I get pre-approved, all that kind of stuff, which is really important. So here we have the easy ways to get approved. Here's the listing presentation sheets, which you'll want. This is that pathway to qualification sheet. All sorts of really good information that you're going to be able to get. Here's that $1,000 loan approval guarantee. Obviously, your loan officer is going to want to put that together, but you can put it in there as something for them to see. So here's how you do that. You go to Actions, you go to Select, and then it shows you a blank page, which kind of confuses people. So pay attention to this. It basically just going to show you and then your co-marketing partner. Sometimes it gives you the option to select from multiple co-marketing partners, in your case, because I'm logged in as a real estate agent, and that's if you're working with lenders that that are with different lenders. So you could do that too at Intercap. So you click on that, and then you hit Customize and Publish. And then there it is. It created it in a second. And it also put in your logo, or actually I don't think it did here because this is just a sample site. But let me see if I can, here we go. I'm going to increase the size. I did, yeah. You can see that there's no picture in there that it would normally grab from your profile. So under here, I should have done this so you could see it, but under your account settings, and actually the marketing profile, you're going to upload your picture and your broker logo. And when you do that, it'll automatically put it here for you and put your picture if it's needed anywhere on any of those flyers. So if it's not there, it even gives you the option to say, oh, my logo's not there, or the image that I want to have on the sign. Now notice it doesn't cover more than just that area, so usually just a logo is good. You just click on that, and then you would upload that logo and put it in there, and it'll stick it in there for you. So this is a really super easy way to have that put in there. I believe it even puts a logo on the bottom of each page as well. So anyway, that's basically what it's going to do for you. Once you've checked to make sure that that image is in there, you're going to go in there and hit Save First Draft. I know that sounds weird to say Save First Draft, but just go ahead and hit Save First Draft. Then it's going to give you the option to save draft. I don't know why it does that, but publish is what you want. So you're going to hit publish. And once you publish, you won't be able to change it is what it tells you. That's fine. You can always recreate it if you need to. Hit OK. And then you see this. And this is where if you had other things published, it would show them here. So now you can go to Action. Oh, it did. It put in the Total Expert logo here, just by default probably. And then you can go here to Generate PDF. So I'm going to generate the PDF. And here is my PDF file. I guess it didn't do that. So if you would have chosen a logo, it would have put it in there. Notice now that it's portrait, where this is, sideways. Don't worry about this because you're going to print it out. You're going to put this as a printout in your folder. Of course, it's got to orient it this way so that it can print it out. And you want to, of course, print it on color, on a color printer. And then there's all your sheets, like that. And again, if I would have had, I should say, my broker logo in that profile, it would have automatically put the logo right here. And usually that's all we're doing. Here's the logo, because in your printout or in your folder is going to be your card. It's going to have your logo there, and you can have other sheets about yourself and things like that in there. So don't worry about all that not having your information anywhere else, okay? And that's the best way to get your listing presentation. So hopefully that all made sense to you. Basically, the standout things are to update the PowerPoint presentation first. If you have PowerPoint, great. If not, other presentation software should be just fine, and you're just going to put your picture in there and update this information, and then you're done. If you want to add other slides, you can always add more slides. I would just say have them professionally designed. Don't skimp on the quality of your listing presentation material, because that reflects your $20,000 value as the Captivate program goes. And then go to Total Expert to get the flyers that go inside. And just to remind you about that as well, is that not only would you do your listing presentation, let's go back here, printouts, you would also want to print out, and you can even ask your lender to do that. If we go to Captivate, you've got this, easy ways to apply or to get pre-approved, and it'll automatically put your lender's picture in there and their phone numbers and contact information. So this will be updated once you go to Actions and you select, and you go through those same steps as I showed you before when we did the listing presentation sheets. And then there's the pathway to qualification if you want to add that co-branded with you. And then when you have those, those appointments, hopefully you're doing that. Here's that $1,000 loan approval guarantee. I'll even show you what that looks like. This is a great way to get an accepted offer for your buyers by the loan officer verifies what they've confirmed to be accurate for their application, so it's not just a guess on what they're approved for. And then the loan officer will even sign this, and you can give that to the seller, in this case when you're on the buyer side, so that they feel like, oh, okay, this is a solid offer and I can count on this working, going through without any problems. So hopefully that all made sense. Again, if you have any other questions or need help, talk to your Intercap loan officer or send us a message at captivate@intercaplending.com. See you soon.